You're listening to the Heroes Power Hour presented by BlizzPro.com. Your host, Balrog Fan BP, and co-host, Zexorus and DJ Tyrant.
Happy New Year! Woo! Yeah, welcome back to the Heroes Power Hour. You know me, I'm Balrog Fan BP, Balrog Fan, aka Charlie. And we've got DJ Tyrant, the caster extraordinaire, also known as Jimmy. Jimmy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited for the new year and to get back into the swing of things with the show here. And we took a couple weeks off to enjoy the holidays, but I love to be back here on Tuesday nights with you guys.
Yeah, it's always exciting. I mean, yeah, the holidays are always busy. Everyone's always doing stuff. So if people were upset that we missed a couple of shows, I do apologize. But you got to understand family, travel, all that stuff, and just general, like a cool down, I guess, period is always in order. Mainly it's just a lot of drinking around New Year's, really. Willie, how you doing, man? Zexorus.
I'm doing great. I've got my New Year's resolution. I'm ready for a whole new me this year. A new, larger me.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about your New Year's resolution?
So everyone's making the, that resolution. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get swole. It's going to be great. And I'm like, nah. I want to be fatter this year. I'm about 195 walking around. I can hit 260 by the end of the year. No problem.
I believe, especially Taco Bell has those Crunchwrap sliders now. Just get right in there, man.
Dude,
BLTs.
it's cost efficient too.
Yeah, you get 5 of those, man. You'll put on weight quick.
Oh yeah,
no problem.
It doesn't help that there's literally a Taco Bell right by my work, so I have to walk like 500 feet.
Yeah, I've got one in walking distance as well. I think they're just springing up in the effort to make us all fat. Maybe.
Did you know also their headquarters are right by Blizzard's headquarters?
No.
Yes.
Oh my god, that makes working at Blizzard even better.
Fun fact: they're right by Blizzard.
Oh man. So we had a few weeks in games here. Jimmy, what'd you do?
I played a couple games here and there. Not a whole lot, but it was a lot of fun. Like the highlight really was I've been playing a lot of Hero League with TBK from Lords of the Storm, and we played a game. This was recently, a couple of days ago, I think. It was on Towers of Doom. That's something we're actually going to talk about later in the show more, because Towers of Doom brings up a lot of really unique stuff. And for first pick, they picked our team picked Lost Vikings. I was like, okay, that's a good pick on this map. Hopefully they're a good player. Then the next pick was me and TBK. He picked Kael'thas and I picked Malfurion. And then the next two on our team picked Cho and Gaul. And my immediate thought is like, oh god, this is going to be a freaking disaster. But we just dominated the game. It was really incredible because Vikings just are so strong on that map. Like, being down a body wasn't a problem.
No, it's great because it's
fun.
On any map where you got to go and channel. It's always great to have the Vikings be like. They're great in Cursed Hollow for that reason. They're great when you have to split your focus onto one specific area and give up lane presence because you can still contest, especially if you play it smart, certain objectives and getting 3 lanes of soak. I mean, it can snowball quickly. That's why I love the Vikings, and I'm sure that's why you've had so much success with them as well. Willie, what about you, man?
I had my 24-hour marathon a couple weeks ago. That was a whole lot of heroes.
Yeah.
It was an awful lot of heroes I played. Like, I switched off to Xenoblade Chronicles for a bit. And then I got bored and I went back to Heroes, and I think I ended up playing maybe 50, 60 games of Heroes that day.
Wow.
And
that beats my record.
Yeah, I started getting a little lightheaded about the 24-hour mark because I had actually been up. But if I had ended when I ended, I took a nap and came back and finished the job. But if I had finished when I was supposed to, I would have been up for like 40 hours at that point.
Whew. That's a long sesh.
Yeah. But
I played 30 on launch day, and that was a lot.
But we did some other. I did some other things that we're going to touch on later tonight, and I ended up playing a couple of games with Jimmy and the Lords of the Storm guys, and that's where we did our what was it? The Morales ETC Sonya.
Yeah, it was something weird like that.
Rhaegar Bloodlust.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh boy.
We put drone.
We brought a Dota strat over and did it again.
Yeah, we put drone on Sonya while Bloodlust was active.
Oh boy, that sounds pretty fierce.
Yeah,
it was
the
beautiful.
essence
of 4 Protect 1. Like, that Sonya absolutely had to live under all circumstances, otherwise the strat died.
Yeah. Wasn't that the set of games where we played against a team and they had ETC and Zagara, and ETC would get a really good... The ETC would get a really good mosh pit, and then Zagara would maw all of us, and we're like, well, thank you, Zagara.
My
gosh.
It happened twice, and both times.
Yeah, both times.
I'm on ETC, and they just huddled around the mosh pit, or huddled around the maw, and I'd get out, and I'd immediately hit mosh pit.
Oh, those games were so good.
Mosh pit.
Wow. Oh, those were fun.
That's pretty intense. Yeah, I played I actually I think it was last weekend I played a few games with Stutter and Twiz, former host of the show, and Element Zero. People who are familiar with the Powerhour probably know her, and Aya, one of our patrons, and we played quite a few games. It was pretty fun. A lot of the just dive and be aggressive strategy, and it seems to be working well. We've just been really like trying to. I think when you play with 5 people, it's like, even if the strategy sounds silly or bad, like, having a strategy is better than not having any strategy at all. Mm-hmm. And if your strategy is to just like never give any ground and just go in and keep attacking, then there's nothing wrong with that, and it can really catch people off guard. So if you like playing dive heavy teams and being aggressive and having like one mage in the back just blowing people up because everyone else is in their face, it can be really rewarding and fun. I recommend that. Other than that, I mean, I got a few games for Christmas and stuff. I got Grand Theft Auto 5. I know I'm late to that party. Same thing with Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse. I'm playing those on and off on the Xbox. Other than that, Heroes in that.
I do have to show you the Christmas present I got.
Okay, well.
It is a thing of beauty.
All right.
Oh, nice.
The Pac-Man clock. That's beautiful.
Yeah, for the audio listeners, the Pac-Man clock.
The not wife, I'd mentioned I'd wanted that like 3 months ago, and she remembered it, and bless her heart, I love the woman for doing that.
That is pretty amazing. So Jimmy had an idea to talk about what we got coming. What's coming in the new year for us with Heroes and reflecting on our last year. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and lead this off a little bit, because this was your brainchild here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as we start the new year, it's January. I think we started the show around this time last year. I don't remember the exact date, but it was...
The first episode was before the new year.
Okay,
it was the Chen episode. It was I want to say it was like the middle of December. We did one episode, then we were like, okay, let's wait till the new year because everyone's busy.
So, I mean, it's been basically a year since we started the show. It's been through a lot of changes and a lot of different just things, and we've seen Heroes come from Alpha, and Charlie and Brawley staying up till 4 a.m. with me to get my account to level 40 before the Alpha went down, and then going into beta, and then it going live, all these new maps and heroes and everything, and all the tournaments going on. We had Heroes of the Dorm, which I got to go to, which was a whole lot of fun. The North America Championships, which I got to go to, which was great because it was in Vegas. So, I mean, You're going to have a good time no matter what there. I went to
I saw the Snapchats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then before that was the the YouTube event where they announced the Diablo themed patches with the Diablo heroes and Diablo maps, which
the Mayhem.
One was kind of a miss, and one was I enjoy the map. So two maps.
And I gotta admit, Battlefield of Eternity has grown on me a little bit. Just I only like it when it shows up in Heroes League, because when you pick for that map, you can really dominate people. And
to be fair, that game we were talking about earlier that we did the strat on with Sonya, that was Battlefield of Eternity.
You can do some fun stuff on that map, and heroes like Sergeant Hammer just look so amazing on that map when they look like garbage on other maps. So I appreciate when I know what's coming. I appreciate it. Every time I pick something that's not going to work for Battlefield of Eternity, though, I feel like that's what I'm going to run into in quick match.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, the year was a growing period for heroes, and we got to see North America finally dominating the esport. We won BlizzCon. We won the World Championships.
USA.
Yeah, and we also had BlizzCon. That was your first BlizzCon that you got to go to, Charlie. And
pop my BlizzCon cherry.
Pop the BlizzCon cherry. And we got to play all the new stuff that we'll be playing through 2016.
Yeah. I played stuff that still hasn't come out yet, so that was exciting. And yeah, to kind of like expand on what you were saying a bit, there's just been a lot that has happened over the last year, and I mean, when it comes to the maps, like, I'm really happy where we're at right now, and I don't need any new maps. Like, there's been so many maps over the course of the year, and I love that about Heroes of the Storm, that there are so many maps, but right now I'm at a place where I'm ready for some more heroes and some different features and modes and stuff, so I hope they focus more on that and don't pump out quite as many maps, because that was, what, like 5 extra maps? It was Sky Temple, Spider Queen, Towers of Doom, Battlefield of Eternity, and Temples of or Shrines. Yeah, so yeah, there was 5 extra maps, and that's quite a bit to go through. But overall, I do enjoy that about the game. The new heroes, every hero that has come out. I mean, basically last winter, it's kind of started with Jaina, if you can believe it. And think about all the heroes that came out after Jaina. That's pretty astounding, especially someone like Kel'Thas, who pretty much immediately made an impact in the meta and has stayed that way for a long time.
Yeah, Sylvanas as well, I feel like, made a huge impact when she first came out, and she's been adjusted to be a little more in line with other heroes. And I feel like I've mentioned this multiple times now, but the last, 4 or 5 different heroes that they've come out with all have a fairly high skill cap, more so than most normal heroes. I mean, we have Lunara, a really, really strong hero, but is vulnerable to a lot of different things.
Your positioning and your feel for her movement have to be on point.
Yeah, Artanis, I still feel like he's kind of finding his spot, and Lieutenant Morales. Can? Yeah, the garbage can. Lieutenant Morales.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's really good.
On the right team, she's just so good.
Yeah, except when you play pub games and you rage when they take medevac, you're like, what is your problem?
Sometimes Stimpact has no effect, though.
Well, we had
3 mages.
We had Sonya and Raynor on our team, so there's no excuse there.
Right. We've seen heroes fall from grace and pick themselves back up through patches and nerfs. Yeah, Rip Illidan. For a while it was Rip Diablo, and now I feel like he's back and almost stronger than ever in some ways. One of my favorite heroes. Same thing with Tyrael. Tyrael was kind of this hero that flew under the radar, and then everybody saw him picked, and with the changes to Sanctification, and now you see him a lot more.
Now, I have a quick question about Diablo. Since you play Diablo a lot, do you think that's more due to the changes they made to Diablo or the changes they made to Tyrande to kind of complement Diablo's playstyle?
Well, I think Diablo found his spot a little bit with the introduction of new heroes. Tyrande definitely helped, but I think there's a thing now where double tank is really popular, and he is just such I like Diablo as a tank, but I think he's much better as a brawler, and they gave him the skills to kind of do that. He can keep up with damage throughout the mid game and be even the highest damaging hero in the entire, like, between all 10 heroes on the map. He can be like way ahead of people. Now, usually by 20, a good Vala or a good Jaina or a good Kel'Thus will kind of win. But that's what I like about him. Like, he can really set the pace for, like, initiations and kind of snowball the game for your bigger damage dealers later. And I love that about him. So I'm like, at first they nerfed him so hard, and I was just so sad. We did a show
Dude,
that, like,
they
started
were
with funeral music for
you,
me.
you were so miserable, and I felt so bad for you because you had
But
been putting so much work into Diablo at that point.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad to have him back. Willie, what about you? I mean, like, your favorite hero saw pretty much a change that was initially received as the greatest thing ever, and you were mad at it. And I never really asked where you fell after that big change. Like, do you miss old Sean? You still?
I still think the changes are garbage.
Yeah.
Where is he in the meta? He doesn't exist. He was there for one instant and then it petered out. So obviously the changes haven't had the impact Blizzard wanted them to have in the overall competitive meta. So
personally, I feel like he's replaced Illidan, like, on those dive comps. Like, you can run him stronger as your main diver than Illidan, but I mean, I know the damage isn't the same as Illidan used to be, but compared to what Illidan does now, I'd rather have Chen.
But why have an Illidan when you could have or you could have a better tank? You instead of, like, let's say Muradin Chen, you could run Johanna Chen. Johanna brings stuns. Johanna brings control. You could there are better options than Chen, like, out there. Like, he doesn't.
My thing is, I think he's more of a brawler. Like, he like Diablo's changes. He gets in people's faces now and does a lot of damage because of that.
But then just go Diablo.
Chen does better with an Abathur hat. Personally, just my thoughts, anyways.
No,
I think Chen's movement is amazing, and the way that it's hard, how hard it is to get him off of people.
Yeah. Like, I'm just not happy.
Still working in the salt mine.
Yeah, I could keep Wisconsin roads dry in the winter. I have that much salt about Chen. But
what about, like, moving forward though, and in the moving forward, what do you want to see out of Heroes, Willie?
I was mad when Legacy of the Void dropped and we didn't get any StarCraft maps.
Okay.
Like, we got Artanis and then we got Loon. Who did we get after Artanis?
We didn't get any StarCraft heroes besides Artanis, and Medic. Medic came before Artanis.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So those, like, we didn't get anybody I personally wanted. So, like, I want I'm the opposite of you. I love the map variations in Heroes. Every map is played differently. Every map can demand a different team comp almost every time. Like, you're not gonna run the same team on let's say Cursed Hollow as you would Haunted Mines. Okay? Like, it requires two different team comps to effectively win those maps.
Of course.
So, but, like, I just really want a StarCraft map. I was really excited when Legacy of the Void came out. I'm like, this is an idea that makes sense. There's no reason not to do this. At least give me Dahaka.
So, if you get one more StarCraft hero and a StarCraft map, you'll be happy moving forward in 2016.
Yeah,
what about you, Jimmy? Oh no, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Just give me Dahaka. I don't care about Tosh. Don't give me another sniper. Just give me Dahaka. I'll shut my mouth for the rest of the year, and I will praise Browder all year long. I will send him a tweet. Browder, I will send you a tweet every day praising your glory if you give me Dahaka and a fun StarCraft map.
What about you, Willie?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. Like, StarCraft is kind of my jam. I've always played StarCraft, and Yeah, after playing Legacy of the Void, I'm like, there's a lot of really cool themes just in Legacy of the Void that they could play with in Heroes of the Storm, and it would just be nice to see something not medieval in the game, a little more sci-fi. Because that was kind of the I guess the promise of Heroes of the Storm. We're gonna have a mesh of all these different franchises, and I'm wagering to guess we'll get the StarCraft event this year, because I think he tweeted pretty early, or Browder obviously tweeted relatively early on after the Diablo event started. He was like, "Nope, no StarCraft event this year," and everyone was like, "Oh, sadness." But yeah, probably get one this year, and it would not surprise me if we had some sort of Overwatch event in summer.
Oh yeah, Tracer's already been confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
That would make absolute sense that they do an Overwatch event the time it drops.
Yeah, mine might be a little bit off the beaten path, so I doubt it'll happen. But I've always wanted the Innkeeper as a hero. I would love the Innkeeper as a hero, someone who throws Hearthstone cards and has Hearthstone type related ultimate spells, like he can throw down Ysera or Nostramu or whatever. Anything that would represent Hearthstone well, and maybe some of the other games, like a level that's kind of like Rock and Roll Racer themed or Blackthorn themed. Anything that was sort of
a little off the beaten path.
Superman.
Because they went really off the beaten path with Lost Vikings. I never expected a non-core franchise Blizzard hero to be in there, because I was honestly, the whole time before that, I was just expecting StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo heroes. I didn't even think of their early games like Lost Vikings, and obviously Lost Vikings is one of my favorite heroes in the game right now. So obviously, for me personally, they hit the park.
Yeah, and I'd like to see a little, at least one big surprise this year, because I don't think anyone really is thinking about those games, and I think a hero or a map based on one of those older games, or even something like Hearthstone, and as you mentioned, Overwatch is going to be king for a little bit, so everyone's going to be ready for Overwatch stuff, but
yeah. I think the only thing I'm a little bit worried about is going into 2016 here. We have no clue what's coming out after Greymane, which we're going to talk about in a little bit here. But that's
Tracer?
the end. Well, Greymane, Tracer a little bit later in the year, and the arena mode. Was it? Well, is that what it's called? I forget. But that was a blast at BlizzCon. The arena. Yeah.
Yeah, the arena. Yeah.
But that's going to be cool. Later in the year. But I mean, between now and then, what's coming, Blizzard? You haven't said anything yet. You've been so quiet. I know they're just now getting back in the office, so maybe we'll get some news in the next week or so. But going in blind into this year is a little bit worrisome. And I think the other thing I really would like to see is at the very least in Team League, give us some bans.
Right. Yeah. I would love that in Quick Match, or at least. At least let me know what map I'm going into when I play Quick Match. That would be really helpful to me. I think that's more important than even bans to me. But
yeah, I'm trying to think how that would work. That seems like a really hard thing to know the map you're going through in matchmaking.
Well, I think before, as soon as you hit Quick Match, it would just tell you the map up there. I don't see that way. It would say this is the map you're going to be placed in. Because I think more importantly, when I play Quick Match, I want to know, even less than what comp I'm going to have, I want to know if my hero is going to be effective on a certain map. Because Nova, Zagara, Sergeant Hammer, they all have various effectiveness on different maps. And it's just one of those things I hope that we get, because it's tough to play Quick Match and really like one hero or want to try out something new and get thrown into a map where you're just not going to get it done. You're actually a detriment to the team. And so.
Yeah, that's a really not good feeling. Is you're like, well, this hero is useless for this map.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys have been smurfing. The Vulture Mount, Recruit a Friend. Why don't you talk about your Smurf experiences a little bit? Because you guys have done it a lot more than me. I played 2 matches as a Smurf, got rolled solo queue, and I was like, I hate Smurfing. But you guys have been having fun.
Zex and I, we rolled up on some Smurf accounts, And of course, mine being the StarCraft player that I am, is just a barcode account, so no one has any idea who I am. And the free heroes that week included a Muradin and the Butcher, and so I decided, why not? I'm going to learn the Butcher, and Willie's like, oh, I'll do Muradin. We just proceed to roam around the map every game and just lock down people for because between the two of us, it's like 2.5 seconds of stun and like 5 seconds of slow. It's absurd. When you're synced up like that, it's gross.
Yeah, especially against newer players. I would
Yeah.
imagine. Willie, you seem to really enjoy picking Muradin against those guys.
I'm not gonna lie. I did have a little bit more fun than I had any right to have fun doing that. Like after every game, I would feel a little bad for the people who we would pick. We would be able to recognize who is smurfing, who is brand new to the game, and then we would just pick on the new player. Just to keep him out of the game, keep him down. You gonna learn today. You know,
it was bad.
That whole thing. And
So
we would build.
do you think smurfing is something that's good? Like,
No,
that's
God, it's awful.
It's a terrible experience for a new player.
Like, yeah, it's an absolute dreadful experience for a new player because you learn absolutely nothing from getting just your head kicked in repeatedly. Like, you don't know what you're doing wrong. Your teammates are now yelling at you because you've died 19 times to this Butcher Muradin combo. You know,
that poor Rainer.
You get sick of I felt bad. Like, I legit felt bad for that guy after that
man.
game because he was very clearly new. And if that Rainer ever hears this podcast, buddy, I'm sorry. I didn't.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry we did you like that, but we wanted to win.
That vulture mount too.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
But no, excuse me. It's an absolutely horrible thing to do. Like, I see why people do it. Like, especially when Blizzard's like, "Hey, get 4 accounts to level 10, and you'll get this sweet mount that we should have just put $25 towards, and people would have bought it regardless." But
right.
it's a terrible thing to, especially if you're an experienced player, you know how to play the game, and you duo queue with somebody who has an idea, or you triple queue with somebody who has an idea, because you're going to win every game. We didn't lose until we came across that Lost Vikings.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and the best thing of it was I never went Avatar. Or I never went Avatar in any of the games on that first Smurf. Haymaker 100% of the time.
Haymaker sounds like
the best was Haymaker with what was the ult for Butcher? The one that
Lance to the Slaughter.
Lance to the Slaughter. It literally just ricochets in that circle.
So you guys were just jerks over the Christmas break.
Yes.
Pretty much.
We were
Oh my
awful,
gosh.
terrible, horrible people. We were those people, like, that I complain about. Like, when we're getting clowned on, like, and you hear that salt level start to pop up on me and get heavier and heavier. We were those people.
Jesus.
Like, oh no, what's this guy's problem? Oh my god! You know, don't smurf. Stick with your account. If you feel like you're stuck in MMR hell, then fine. But, like, if you get stuck in MMR hell again, buddy, that's where you belong.
Blizzard, don't incentivize smurfing, please.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah.
Because I still feel like I have to do it because I don't have the vulture mount, and that seems to be the only way to get it. Because people just, you can't. What am I gonna do? Round up like 5 hobos? Be like, hey, you guys ever play Heroes of the Storm on the internet? Here,
go buy them a couple hours at Internet Cafe.
Right.
You know what?
Doesn't
I
work
bet
that way. People who are playing Heroes of the Storm are already playing it.
I bet if you offered 5 hobos, like, lunch for the day, they'd sit there and play
A
fucking
fifth
Heroes.
of Thunderbird and
Yeah,
and
I
some,
bet you.
yeah, and some lunch.
Some Mad
okay.
Dog 2020.
Obama's new plan.
Gotta keep the costs down.
So, Greymane's data has been data mined, and he looks to be coming out on the 12th, which is next Tuesday.
Yay, new
Yay,
hero.
Greymane! I mean, I got a chance to play him. I think he's amazing. I know Jimmy, you got a chance to play him, right?
Yeah, I played him in one of the arena games, and he was fun.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's all you got a chance
I
to
got
play
a
him.
very, very small taste of him, but he's definitely has some really unique abilities. Obviously, the shape shifting is going to be really cool and allows you to jump in and finish off opponents fast.
Yeah. Yep. He's got abilities that basically change based on if he's a worgen or if he's a human. That's pretty cool. You can see all those abilities uh, right now if you just look it up. I mean, I know Heroes Nexus has them posted. It's one of those things though where it's like I don't really like to put stock into something until it's actually released officially.
Hmm.
But it looks like, by all accounts, he's coming out next week. So
Yeah, I mean, being able to switch between ranged and melee, like
Mhm.
on a whim,
Yeah,
seems super super powerful.
and when you're in melee, you do 40% more damage.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's his trait basically. Is that so?
Hmm.
I mean, he's going to be interesting. Willie?
I'm going through this guy's skills, okay, and I'm looking at it, and what he's reminding me of, and Jimmy, you'll feel me on this, is Troll Warlord,
Oh yeah.
where Troll Warlord in Dota 2 has two. He has a melee form and a ranged form. His melee form comes with a 10% bash chance, which this isn't the case. They swapped out the bash chance for what it looks like a lot more damage. So, like, I might give him a try, but like, I'm very very apprehensive about new heroes.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think it's one of those things too, where like you jump in with them and you either want to play them or you don't. Even
and
if
that's
they're new, like if you like the hero, you're gonna keep playing them. But they haven't
it's
released a lot like that lately.
yeah, it's been like that for the past few heroes I've gotten excited over. Wasn't excited about Artanis. That's been well documented. Um, I was really excited for Rexar. I was pumped for Rexar. I got my hands on him, and the words I want to use can't be repeated. For me,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
soul crushing.
Rexar is amazing on Dragonshire, though.
Oh yeah,
That's his map.
Hmm.
oh yeah, he's absolutely good on some maps, but it wasn't. It was not what I was expecting.
Right. No, yeah. I felt the same way when Cho'Gall was released. I thought he was going to be just like so great, and I cringe at the thought of playing against or playing with a Cho'Gall, and wanting to play Cho'Gall just isn't there.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm still not feeling chill anymore. I love the concept, I really do. But it's before you came out, I said Cho'Gall is either going to be absolutely amazing or it's going to be a train wreck, and he ended up being a fun train wreck, just not something.
Yeah.
It's something you bust out in customs, not Hero League or Quick Match, because you ruin everyone's life except for the enemy team.
Still waiting to see him played by a pro team.
And Haymaker, perfectly valid
hey.
answer to Cho'Gall.
Maybe that'll happen this weekend.
Hey, oh yeah. You want to talk about that a little bit, by the way? Jim?
Yeah, real quickly. This kind of all happened really quickly, but there's an esports tournament this weekend in Santa Ana at the esports arena. They're calling it Heroes Rising. They have 5 invited teams, 5 teams that qualified, and I will actually be casting the second stream for the tournament there. And so check it out. It should be a good time. And I'm looking up the teams right now. I like the regulars are all there. Cloud9 and Tempo Storm. Let me make sure I have all the teams right. Cloud9, Tempo Storm, Panda Global, Cognitive Gaming, Murloc Geniuses. Those are the 5 invited, and the online qualifiers that made it in are Team Blaze, Blank. That's their team name, Blank. Bob Ross Fan Club, Owl Face, and King of Blades Alpha. So I mean, these are a lot of really good teams, and it's going to be interesting just because there's been a lot of shuffling of the teams lately. And I'm really interested to see how Team Blaze does because they actually beat Tempo Storm a couple months ago on an online tournament back when they were kind of considered one of the best teams. And so it'll be interesting to see how everyone does. And the brackets are pretty heavily stacked.
During Heroes Hype. They're like a well-oiled machine. They are just very their teamwork is so cohesive. It was surprising to me that they were playing in an amateur tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we kind of kicked them out after about 5 weeks of them just winning.
Were you going to say, Willie?
I will be keeping an eye out for Kings of Blade Alpha because I know Dark Chimera. I played against him before. He's an amazing support player. Charlie, you played against? No, you didn't. You were passed out that day.
Yeah.
You were gone. You were doing something, not Heroes. But
not Heroes.
Yeah. He's an amazing support player, a really intelligent. If I remember correctly, he's their shot caller too. Like the Divergent Open a couple nights ago, some really great back and forth. I don't think they won that particular Open, but boy, it was entertaining to watch.
Right. I will just have to take your word for it because I was a bad person and didn't make it that day.
Mm.
So yeah, this is actually a Kickstarter tournament. They have met their goal, and they do have 52 hours to go as of this live podcast. So I mean, if you're interested, just Google Heroes Rising Kickstarter, and you any money you kick in at this point, I believe 75% of it goes to the prize pool at this point. So I mean, it's already a $10,000 prize pool, and it looks like according to Team Liquipedia, $3,300 for first place. So I mean, that's a good chunk of change. And every team that goes to this event, there's 10 teams, so top 8 get money.
That's amazing. And I do encourage people to go and donate to stuff like that because bigger prize pools mean more support for a game.
Yeah.
And if you want to see your favorite teams play against each other in a competitive setting, then go ahead and donate. I mean, it makes a difference.
Yeah, and the main casters, good friends of mine, Gillyweed and Zoya. Gillyweed has been on our show a couple times.
Yeah.
She casted BlizzCon. She is awesome. Make sure you check that out when you're not checking out my stream on Saturday. At the event, I'll be there. Yeah, if you're there, come say hi to me. I'll be around the whole weekend there, and should be a good time by all.
Good times were had by all. So we got that sounds all very fun, and I hope you guys check out Jimmy because this is a big deal. And make sure you're there. We got our What's Hot on Reddit segment coming up. That basically we go ahead and find some thread on Reddit that garnered a lot of attention. And this week it's all the heroes that can solo the boss on Towers of Doom. And this is pretty helpful for players who are new to Towers of Doom. Willie, I know you read a little bit of this. Why don't you kick this off just a little bit?
All right. So basically, the hero, if you're not familiar with Towers of Doom, the hero gives you tower shots equal to the amount of towers you control at that particular moment. So if you got 5 towers, you're doing throwing out 5 shots at it. Okay, and one of the most key things of that map is that boss. It can be your final push late game, or it can.
I just want to go ahead and jump in here. It's always 4 shots.
Is it always? I thought it was.
Yeah,
it's always 4. It doesn't matter.
It's at the 5-minute mark, and it's always 4 shots.
I stand corrected, and I'm an idiot. So, but the thing about the boss is, I'm pretty sure I've never seen it do a stun. So people who have huge amounts of regen or ability to generate shields and take damage, or just flat out can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, have a pretty good shot of taking this thing out by themselves. And this thread is just going over possible snipe strategies for the boss, because taking that boss, if nobody's expecting it, let's say you've got Rexar, okay? Rexar, fantastic boss soloer anyways, but no one really going to notice you're gone on that map, especially if towers are up.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
and the bear can just basically take care of the boss by himself almost. So,
exactly. So, like,
um,
it's going over strats and stuff like that, and what talents you need to effectively go through the boss.
yeah, and this thread has required talents and preferred talents. So the talents you will absolutely need to be able to solo the boss by yourself, and what would also be preferred. It's it's viable at level 7, but it seems like it's risky for
Hmm.
most heroes.
I found interesting, just interjecting really quick, that
Yeah,
Sonya was they couldn't get Sonya to work, which she generally you have her solo the boss on Curse Hollow, which is
yeah,
interesting that she doesn't work on this map. I think just the I guess it's just the spinning head mechanic that thing does so much damage if you're
yeah.
not careful. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, so Gazlo, as always, if he has Mercenary Lord and Robo Goblin, he has a much easier time taking this boss down. It also says if you give him Regen Master First Aid, you drop a turret on him and just right north, and just before the head swings around and lands, don't stand on that turret. So basically, you're maximizing your positioning on the turrets and just doing damage based on Mercenary Lord and Robo Goblin, and that's how you would solo that boss. With Lost Vikings, it's take Merc Lord and Norse Force spin, play again, Impatience of Earthshoe all help. And with that, it just kind of recommends microing really well. Asmodan's there. It seems to be really like if you have access to Mercenary Lord, it's a big deal because Asmodan, it's another one where it's like take Merc Lord, and as we all know, it's you take less damage from these sources now. It's what superiority used to be. So on top of the fact that you get stronger push when you take camps, but um, those three heroes are kind of like the specialist heroes where you take Mercenary Lord or Nazebo too as well. So I the what's interesting is it seems to be like mostly specialist all the way through, and then randomly there's just Arthas and Lily.
Yeah, the Leela one is interesting. That's I don't know.
It just seems like how much can you heal yourself? They said you need Mending Serpent and the good
Uh huh.
stuff, and you just kind of outscale the headshots with healing. And once you do that, you can take down the boss by yourself. I'd imagine that would take a decent amount of time, though.
Mm-hmm.
Arthas was also, he has access to Mercenary Lord, and then Zagara is just corpse feeders, which is interesting. It's all around like fighting against the boss's head, and making sure that it doesn't like ruin you when you get hit by it. So it's an interesting thread, and I highly recommend checking it out because it's a new map, and having that extra edge for taking down the bosses, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, definitely. And since I play Lost Vikings, I feel like I'm going to need to try this at some point. Um, so it'll be fun to try this out because the build is definitely a little more different than I usually go with Vikings.
Yeah, it seems with Chen is also viable. Willie, did you see that? What do you
Yeah,
think?
and I already know what the build is. Like
Yeah,
it would be a build that I would do if I wanted to try to do it solo anyways, which isn't which I wouldn't take unless the other team had no CC on their team.
well, this is a specialized map too because you can lose team fights and be winning the map handily. So that's what's interesting about Towers of Doom. Like you
Yeah.
can lose a big team fight at 16, and if you're up like 8 shots on their tower, it doesn't matter because you're all going to be revived before the next spawn, and you just outplay them on map mechanics. So
Mhm.
that's where you're allowed to like be vulnerable to certain things and go down different build paths, and that's why this thread was very interesting because it's helpful for a map that's so unique. So if you go to Heroes of the Storm Reddit and just look up all heroes that can solo Towers of Doom, or it's in the weekly top thread, just go ahead and find it, and it's very helpful. There's a
also
link in our
posted
show
chat.
notes. Oh, you posted in chat. So yeah, it's in our show notes. I don't know if we can give those out to people, but
On the Blizz Pro post, I will make sure to have this linked to there.
Okay,
So
there we go.
We will have that for you, for all you listeners and viewers and everyone who supports us. So thank you very much.
Woo! So we got the gaming portion coming up, and it's been a little bit. So if we have any of our patrons in chat, go ahead and sound off and let everyone know that you want to play. And we'll have games coming up very soon. And as always, I want to remind people to check out heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com. Willie, you wrote an article. What was that about a bit?
That was about. I noticed we never had an Abathur build on there.
Yeah.
So I made an Abathur build, and it is a split push build that pretty much relies on you being where the enemy team isn't. So they are now forced to decide: do I deal with this angry horde of rolling Zerg hammering at our keeps and forts, or do I attempt to disengage this team fight I'm now in and get some heroes picked off in the process? It's a build that makes the enemy commit to one thing or the other, while keeping you yourself team fight viable.
And that's always a good plan. Kind of splitting focus, making the enemy team make decisions that might cost them the game. So if you want to check that out, go to heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com and look up the Abathur build. And we have plenty of other articles on there. I know Alebeard writes strategy articles weekly. I took a little time off for the holiday, but I'll have another build coming up on Thursday, and it's your one-stop shop for all any breaking news. We get it up there very quick, and it's a great source of information. So make sure you're going to heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com. Willie, you want to talk about our Patreon account a little bit, or?
Actually, I'm really bad.
I mean Jimmy. I'm sorry. I meant Jimmy.
Okay.
Jimmy.
Patreon.com/heroespower. That's where you can go ahead and donate to us, and donating to us gives you access to our friends list. You can come play with us all the time in Heroes of the Storm, and a lot of our patrons have become our close friends in Heroes, and even Willie, you are a patron, and here you are, co-host on the Heroes Power. So I mean, it just helps us out with costs, and there's all sorts of hardware with doing a show like this, microphones and headsets and stuff like that, and it just helps us when things break down. It's just a matter of time for stuff just fails at some point. It's a fact of life how things are. But yeah, it helps us out, and we have a couple goals on there. They're still the same goals we have, and if we do hit those, we want to do those. I know we've talked about doing some other things like tournaments and stuff like that. So, I mean, if we can get the money up there a little higher, it would help us out with some other goals, and maybe expanding on our Patreon, doing just more stuff, more Heroes Power.
Yep. Yeah, and it makes a big difference. If you feel like you want to donate $1 a month, it would make a big deal. So go ahead and check that out for us. Willie, DJ, you got anything you want to add before we close this puppy out, or Willie?
I would like to add that when I played with, I talked about it earlier. When I played with TBK and Jimmy the other day, I got my first win on Malfurion. I'm now 1-20 on Malfurion.
Woo! If I had a sound drop, I would play it right there. Jimmy, what about you? You got anything you want to say?
Not too much. Just glad to be back in the swing of things on the show, and really looking forward to what 2016 brings for this game.
Yeah, let's hope for a great 2016. Everybody who wants to come and check us out and watch us in the gameplay portion, head to the chat room. We upload it later to YouTube, I believe. We still do that, right, Jimmy?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so you can check it out on YouTube if you're listening to audio, and that's going to do it for us today. Make sure you tune in next week, Tuesday, 7 Pacific Time, 10 Eastern, and that's the Heroes Power Hour. Goodbye, everybody.